time on Go Far Adventure after getting robbed by the policia twice within 24 hours.
So last night we got robbed.
I just got pulled over again and we had to pay a bribe.
Meg and I decided to meet on the outskirts of the city at a big truck stop. From there, I took Tash, who had just spent a week with us, to the airport where she would fly back to Canada. Confused and stressed out about the events that had just unfolded immediately following our arrival in Guadalajara, Meg and I decided it was best to stay at the truck stop for a few days to get some work done, and on Monday we would take the bus to the International Mechanics in Guadalajara. Why are we taking the bus to the mechanics, you might ask? Well, some of you may remember way back, over a year ago, when I first met Meg in Baja. On only our third day traveling together, the bus started having problems with the coolant overflowing. We took the bus to the nearest town, Santa Rosalia, where we found a mechanic who spoke English. He told Meg oil was mixing with the diesel and she might have to replace the head gasket. $2,000 later and 1 day's labor, they said it was just a cracked oil cooler pipe, and after they replaced it, they gave her instructions to fill the coolant with water and flush it out after each time she drives it, to flush out the residual oil from inside the reservoir. Meg did this time and time again, hundreds of times over the months, and it was the same problem persisting. The coolant would always be full and milky after a day's drive, and she'd need to drain it with more water. The problem seemed to have never gone away. We were only managing it diligently and limping the bus along, but all this time doing a small amount of damage because we really didn't know what was happening. Finally, after months of this problem persisting, and being in a major metropolitan city like Guadalajara, which had everything, including an international dealership, she decided it was best if she took it there just to see if they could diagnose the problem. Within minutes, they were able to diagnose that diesel was actually mixing with her coolant and that there was a major problem. Meg had a few options now, but they needed to determine exactly what parts would be needed to repair the bus, and that would require taking some of the engine apart. So this would be over 2 weeks for them to diagnose this. So with the bus being looked at more closely, Meg and I packed a few things, and the next few weeks would be known as the Guadalajara Airbnb era. Essentially, our new normal became living and working in various Airbnbs around the city, awaiting any news on Mo.
Okay, we got this book in.
Next freaking out about having a scorpion here, but I'm Australian.
Oh, he's good. Fucking nice, good. He's good. Ah! Fucking piece of shit. I feel like my balls are getting pinched right now.
Will you do this?
Ah!
It's like the magic scorpion. Is it under the cup? Shall we do it? Ta-da! You gonna eat it?
No, I'm not gonna eat it.
It took them longer than they said to diagnose the problem, but finally, after nearly 3 weeks, Meg received a call and we went to go speak to the mechanics.
First, so you can take a decision what we do. What's your options? Once they open the engine, they discover that the cylinders, little scratch, the water was working with the oil. In little words, if you don't stop the bus, it'll be more drastic. The engine won't work no more.
Okay.
You really are unfortunate to get here
Okay.
and try to fix it. We have two options here. The worst option or the biggest problem is repair the whole engine. But that takes us some time to make it up. And the profit is my partner's telling me it's over 150. It's really hard.
And it takes months.
It takes some months because the pieces are in the United States. And it's really hard. We have to take down all the engine. We have to take down this part.
The hood,
The hood, and take down the whole engine. That would be one option if you want to stay the bus about over 10 years. We can make a little repair the profit will be less. I'm talking about 50, but we can't guarantee how much time will it work fine. Maybe it could be a couple of weeks, maybe it could be 2 years. We don't know. It depends most of your how many times you make change oil.
Keep the maintenance.
That's one factor that will help us much.
We were really lucky to have Ricardo working with us. He was the only mechanic at the international dealership that spoke English, and he did a fantastic job explaining everything to Meg and I. So there was the options, Band-Aid fix or the expensive motor replacement. Each has pros and each has cons. We talked it out and contemplated every option, and finally we formulated a plan. Ultimately, it only made sense that Meg gets the bus repaired, especially being in Mexico. This would be her cheapest option and chance to give Mo a new lease of life. It would take 2 months according to them, and we had just slightly over that remaining on our visas. So, our plan. Originally, I was always planning to go to Roatan Island off the coast of Honduras on this trip, where a friend of mine had just permanently moved to and had been working there as a dive instructor / musician for over a decade. I asked Meg if she would want to spend 2 months waiting for the bus in Roatan, exploring a Caribbean island, getting some diving in, and working to save up for the mechanics bill at the same time. It was pretty much a unanimous yes. Within 48 hours of deciding our plan, we had purchased our flights. The mechanics let me store my motorcycle in a yard, and we were off to Roatan.